Hey everyone, welcome to We Met Wire Work. I'm Laura, and if you're looking for fun, whimsical wire crafts, you've come to the right place. I'm here to inspire you, so I suggest that you add your own special flair and touches to the projects that I share with you here. All I ask is if you do enjoy my content, then please hit that subscribe button and definitely hit the notification bell as well, and that'll let you know when I do have new projects to share here with you guys. All right, so let's get to it, and I'll show you how to make these beautiful hammered copper filigree earrings. The materials we're using today for our chased copper earrings is a metal strike plate, and then we have a chasing hammer. Here we have 2 copper blanks, and these are used for metal stamping. I have a nail. There's a 20 gauge copper wire. We have some bail making or jump ring making pliers. There's a really nice little pair of flush cutters, some flat nose pliers, and then just some chain nose pliers. These are jewelry pliers, so they have no teeth to them, which means they're not going to, or are less likely to, scar up your wire and your materials. This is relatively soft, if you will, and it does scar up easily. However, these we are chasing, we're pounding them out anyway, so it's really not going to make a big deal with these. But in general, it's a very good practice to use tools without teeth if you can. All right, let's get to it. The first thing we are going to do is we are going to chase our blanks for our earrings here, and by that I mean we just get to have some fun. We get to take this chasing hammer, which is you know, most jewelry makers will use these. They're just a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to handle, and there is just a slight concave to our flat side here as well. So all right, so this is quite simply a way of working out any frustrations or aggravations that you have. All right, so now we have our 2 copper blanks. They're pounded out, and I actually smushed one of the holes a little bit by doing so. So going forward, I think I would chase them first before I actually put the holes in them, just so that I'm not closing that up. Now, this is a very archaic way of doing this. I'm sure there's a much easier way, but I just took a nail, and I just figured out where I wanted to go on the metal, and it really helps to use a Sharpie to measure that as well. And I quite simply found where I wanted my hole to be, and I just worked my way through pounding the hole into it. And yeah, it's a little labor intensive, but it certainly avoids having any or needing any special tools to complete this. Now that we have pounded or chased our copper blanks, the next thing I want to do is I want to make some ear wires for these. So we're going to take about 3 inches of the copper wire. This is a 20 gauge, and it might be a bit big, might be considered a bit large, a big gauge for ear wires, but it's certainly doable. All right, so go. Well, that one didn't cut. Well, there we go. Okay, Now I do have another tutorial on how to make the ear wires, and I can always leave the link for that up here during the video so that you can refresh your memory. So to start off with, and I don't have a great cut there. There we go. We want it nice and flush. Then we are going to take our bail making pliers, or our jump ring making pliers, and I want to go with the largest loop maker on these, and I just think they make for a nice shape to the ear wires. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap that wire around so that I have a completed circle here, that one, and I'll do the second one at the same time. I really do recommend making anything where you have two to do each step on the piece at the same time. Okay, so now I'm just going to open this up like so, straighten that out as much as possible. I do have some nylon pliers in the studio, however I am not 100% sure where they are. I've probably tucked them away with another project, and just never put them back where they should have been. Let that be a lesson to me. All right, so now we're going to just take our pliers again, and we're going to just create a little bit of a hook on the bottom, or the back of that, at the end of that wire. Okay, and then we're going to just close it up a little bit, like so. Do the same thing with this one. Just give it a little hook there, and then we're going to just close this up a bit, like so. Now they may not be identical. As a matter of fact, this one is just a little bit larger, and that's okay. You know what? It's perfectly fine if that's the case. All right, so now I'm going to find that these are quite a bit longer than what I want them to be, and the 3 inches was really just to make sure that we had lots and lots of room, lots and lots of wire to work with. So what I think I'm going to do, first of all, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to give us actually about 1.25 inches. All right, so that's where we want to snip that off. So there's a little bit of waste in here, but better too much than not enough. And then we'll do just overlap these if you're comfortable doing so. If not, certainly you can certainly just measure them. Okay, and we want that like that. It can be a little slippery. All right, so, and we've got a rogue wire here. We've got one that's trying to get away on us. A little piddly. Okay, holding it like that, and then we'll just snip right there. Once again, if they're just off a little bit, there really is no biggie. Okay, so now, once again, introducing our bail making pliers, or our jump ring making pliers. I want to twist this on my second largest part of the barrel here. So not this little guy, but this guy here. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing for this one. Just grasping it and pulling it around and closing that. Okay, so there you go. We have two very beautiful ear hooks. Okay, so now we have our ear wires on our copper blanks here. So the next thing is to add the filigree, or the decoration, to it. So we reintroduce a 20 gauge, and we're going to cut about 6 inches of this, and we need 2 of those. Okay, and then we'll bring in our barrel nose pliers again, and we are just going to, using the smallest gauge barrel on here, going to just kind of start with a little swirl like that. And as I said, I recommend if you start with one, do the second one as well. Okay, so you end up with some sort of uniformity there. Not essential, because this is quite a random design anyway, but sometimes it's just nice to have both of them done at one time. Okay, so taking one of our earrings, we're going to just take that piece of wire that we just created that swirl. All right, and we're just going to place it on there somewhere near the top, and we're just hang on to it. And then for this one that I'm doing, I'm just going to wrap this around a couple of times. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to do just a little loop, like so. And then I'll come back around again and do another couple of lines. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to create another loop. Now I may or may not have to trim this off. We'll see how this last little bit goes. And that worked out about perfect. Isn't that pretty? So now we'll do the second one. Once again, we have our second piece of wire that we started our little curl on at the end. And I'm going to do this one the opposite direction. Okay, so holding on to that firmly, I'm going to just wrap it a couple of times, come back around and create that loop, like so. Okay, and then we're going to come back around the back. Oh, and my loop has gone kind of shrunk. A little adjustment there. Okay, so now what has happened here is I did an additional wrap in here inadvertently, so I'm just going to stretch this wire out a bit more, like so, and then I'll still do my curl, but it's going to end up being just a teeny tiny little curl. So, with that being the case, I can either leave it as is, or I can go in and I can tweak this one here, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, and I'll probably have to readjust these ear wires as well, because I just kind of pulled it out of shape here. All right, so, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in and I'm going to just snip off a bit of this. Lift it up, because I kind of like things symmetrical. Not everybody does. A lot of people are okay with asymmetrical. That's all it's personality based, right? So, I mean, if you're good with that and you're good with leaving it, then by all means do so. And these obviously aren't going to be exact because I did do a extra wrap in here, right? And that's what made this guy so much shorter. And I'm going to tweak that more yet. Until I can get it approximately. Okay, so then what I'm looking at is just making this a little bit tighter, a little bit shorter, and even shorter yet. So that's what it's all about, is just tweaking the designs. Just remember, when you cut the wire off, you can't get it back. Okay, well, that one's still got a little bit more of a curl on it, but it's very darn close. Beautiful. So there you go, guys. There are our beautiful hammered copper earrings. And I think they're really quite stunning, and certainly very unique. You could also add stones to them, stones or crystals, or, you know, there's all kinds of variables with them. All right, so thanks so much for popping by. I am Laura Ouimet, and this is Ouimet Wirework. I appreciate you being here, and if you enjoy this video, please give me that subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. In the meantime, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon.